Stephen Lecce is Ontario's Minister of Education. He's in Toronto. Minister Lecce, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much.
I want to start with this deal. You say your deal is better than what other provinces negotiated, but many of them have already cut costs and they're going to hit the $10 per day target earlier than Ontario, and you don't even start reducing fees until next month. So how is that better?
Well, first off, we are proud and excited to have landed a historic deal that's going to cut fees for families in this province 50% this year, down to $10 by 2025. Critical for our recovery. When it comes to what's different, our province was able, in collaboration with the federal government, to get a 6th year. We're the only province in the Federation to be able to guarantee a 6-year funding built into our agreement, $2.9 billion as well as infused into the agreement as a consequence of that extension. Moreover, we were able to deliver flexibility. In Ontario, all our for-profit and non-profit providers are being included in the deal, which we think was critical to protecting choice of parents. And finally, we're able to have flexibility on the carryover of funding, literally 100% flow of funding carried over in our first year. What that means, David, is we took 5 years of funding and allocated it in 4 years. So there are some material unique elements to this deal. We think it is a good outcome for families, and it's going to cut fees, which is so critical for our government and for Premier Ford.
But you mentioned the 6th year, and the Prime Minister was asked about that today, and he made the point that this is meant to be a permanent national program, so everybody can count on a 6th year, a 7th year, and even a 10 year is what he said, unless some future government decides to pull out of this entirely and tear it up. So is that 6th year really any different than what anyone else is getting when the Prime Minister says flat out, everybody can count on year 6?
Well, I mean, it's not built into an agreement, and I think for any responsible government, they're going to sign a deal if it's codified on paper to protect taxpayers and protect families. And so we're the only province who have done that. It's in the agreement and guarantees a minimum, a floor of $2.9 billion, as well as a review mechanism in year 3 to make sure our taxpayers are protected in Ontario. If there's gaps that emerge, that there is sustainable funding down the road. So we do believe this deal is better, but ultimately it reflects the best of our country, governments coming together, reducing prices, making life more affordable for moms and dads, because as you know, in Ontario, when we came to power in 2018, we inherited the most expensive childcare, 400% increase under the former Liberals. So we knew something had to happen, something different had to take place, and this deal is a game changer to delivering affordability for families.
You mentioned that financial review in the 3rd year of the deal. What happens if that review shows that the actual costs of the program are more than the deal you've negotiated and there are going to be gaps?
Well, we very much look forward to funding from the federal government, sustainable funding from the federal government to close gaps, something we negotiated and discussed over the past months with the feds, and they have themselves pre-position their interest, potentially as soon as the budget, to identify a national program that could help us bridge those gaps, because we know that they could rise in year 4 and 5 and 6 of this program. And what we don't want is for fees to increase or for us to have to reduce the amount of spaces we're funding. We have 86,000 funded within our program. We don't want to see either option. Those wouldn't be acceptable propositions to the taxpayer and to the people of Ontario. So we are very much, we've already indicated to the feds, we're going to need more dollars to bridge those gaps, and they have indicated a willingness to work with us. The review mechanism is the first step in acknowledging the problem, auditing it, and then working with the feds to deliver more dollars so that we protect the integrity of $10 by 2025.
There's another gap there, sir, and that's the hourly wage for early childhood educators. They want $25 an hour. Manitoba has said they can get $25 an hour. They set that as a floor. You're talking about $18 an hour. If Manitoba can give $25 an hour, why can't Ontario do that?
Well, we're starting with an $18 minimum wage for ECEs and $20 for supervisory ECEs. Every year in our agreements, it will increase by $1 to a maximum of $25 at the conclusion of the agreement. And so that is positive for families and for the workers. I should note that we believe about 3/4 of workers in Ontario already make well over $18 a day, but for the 25% roughly that are not making 18, this will lift them up and create a competitive wage system and a grid between 0 to 5. And I should mention that the province of Ontario is unilaterally putting in $400 million. So the staff who work in childcare for ages 6 to 12, which is outside the scope of this deal, that they too receive the same financial benefit and an increase in compensation. So we are able to retain the workforce, because we need 14,700 more ECEs to meet the demand of this deal. And this investment, this funding, the increase in salary, we believe will retain the workforce and help grow it over time.
A question about the timing of this. You're the last of the 13 subnational governments to sign on to this. And a lot of people look at this and say you held out because you wanted this to be done closer to the election that you're facing in June. How much did provincial electoral politics play in the timing and the pace of these negotiations?
We were committed to landing a deal as soon as possible because in this province we know that parents pay exorbitant fees and it's inaccessible as well. We've got families on wait lists in Ontario for childcare that isn't even affordable. So the problem is real, and we're doing what no former government, including no Liberal government, could ever have conceived, which is cut fees, not increase them by 400% like the Del Duca Liberals. So I think what we're doing is important. I think the timing is right. It's critical to our recovery as we look forward to getting more women in the labor market, getting more parents working, and reducing costs at a time when the cost of living, inflation, other pressures are rising on parents. If this is a way to save about $6,000 on average per year per child, look, I know it's going to go a long way, and it's another step we're taking to make life affordable for people, for parents, and for the people and for Ontarians who I think are very much looking forward to savings this year.
The timing of those rebates, though, coming in May, right before the campaign, I mean, that's pretty good timing for you too, is it not?
Well, it's retroactive to April 1. We do think it's going to help save money, 25% upfront. At the end of the day, we want to do whatever is humanly possible that we can do to reduce prices. 25% upfront will be realized on average automatically for any parent that's in a childcare that is enrolled in our system, and then 50% by Christmas, and then of course $10 by 2024. Look, for us, it's about moving forward with a program that reduces prices, saves families money, and we want to move as soon as possible, which is why today is a very positive deal as we work together, putting the country and the interests of families first in this province.
Okay, Stephen Lecce, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.